One of the things that moves in the fourth dimension is your voice, your vocal cords. When you push things out of your mouth, it translates into that supernatural realm. It passes through that corridor, so to speak. And when, for instance, I'll give you an example. A lady, a mama, she is at the sentencing hearing in federal court with her 18-year-old son who committed a crime. And he's now being sentenced to 10 to 20 in the federal pen. Pretty serious, isn't it? And she comes up to another person she's sitting with and just says, you know, I told that boy from the time he was tiny that one day he was going to go to jail. Well, that was more than just programming that young man to go to jail. That was pushing those words past that barrier, which these words go right through that barrier into the supernatural, and it causes those things to happen. Some people call that a curse, which it is. Curses are real, and they're extremely real. You could talk to a witch or a warlock, which they're real, and they will tell you the curses are true. You will talk to people that I'll call them on the forces of light, not darkness, and they'll tell you they're real. And so our words are like nuclear-tipped weapons. They can either be weapons of mass destruction, or what I prefer, and I think I coined this term, a weapon of mass construction. And so every morning, I'll give you an example. Virtually every morning I take my son to school. And we get out of the car, and I kiss him on the cheek. He kisses me on the cheek. It's okay, guys. This is cool. My son knows that someday he's going to be 20. And if I ever take him somewhere and drop him off, I'm going to chase him across the parking lot until I will chase him down all day. I don't care where he is. He's going to kiss me on the cheek. I'm going to kiss him on the cheek because he's my only son and I love him. So I kiss him on the cheek. He kisses me on the cheek. And then I walk with him to the right next to the school. And then I put my hand on his head and I bless him. Something like this. Michael, I bless you in the name of God. I station God's mighty angels around you with their swords drawn from their shields, and that He protects you in this day. And you need to know, Michael, that God loves you, your earthly daddy loves you, and nothing can stop you from your destiny. It's completely open to you, Michael. You're one of the smartest boys in the whole world. You can do anything. And then I look at him and I say, Michael, what man can take this blessing away? And he looks at me every morning and he says, Daddy, no man can take this blessing away from me. Now, that causes him to know that his voice can pass through this barrier into the fourth dimension, that God loves him. He has a creator. His name is God. He has many names, but he has a God who's a creator, and that God has a destiny for him, and nothing is going to prevent him from fulfilling that. Nothing. Now, some of you are saying, hey, listen, I didn't have a dad like that. I wish you were my dad, Mike. Well, it's never too late. Write this down. Please write this down. Or go back and watch it again and write it down. But it's never, ever, 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 ever too late to have a wonderful childhood. It's never too late to have a wonderful childhood because most of us have scars, men and women, from, you know, they were raped, they were abused, they were neglected, they were a middle child. The list goes on and on and on and on. No parent is perfect. Some parents are pretty bad. Some people don't even know who their parents were, or their parents just vanished and they got put in orphan homes and things like that. God can take you back in time if you'll let Him. And He can rebuild you. He can heal every single one of those emotional harms, even the ones you don't know about. That's what this video series is about making those things, the hurts, healed, your destiny apparent, knowing that there's nothing in the world that can stop you from reaching it. And it's not about money. Money comes. Now, let me stop for a second. How much money should you have? This is a rule that I was taught. You should have enough money to take care of your needs and to give some back. Okay? Now, for some people, that's $1 billion or more. And some people, it's $20,000 or $30,000 or $40,000 a year. But if you follow these principles, you will never, ever, ever be in lack. L-A-C-K, meaning not enough. You'll move as you integrate these principles into your life. You'll move from not enough to just enough to more than enough. It's inevitable. It can't be stopped. I've seen it happen time and time and time again. Again, it hurts. You adjust. It feels really good, and you can do all of these things. So, that's the thing with the supernatural. Again, the supernatural controls the natural. Our words are one of the ways we project into that. When I bless my son in the morning, I'm projecting blessings upon my son. And it's very effective since I'm his dad, but it could be anybody blessing anybody. If you want to go where you've never been, you have to do things you've never done. Of course, Einstein, I think, said the definition of insanity is doing the same things over and over again and expecting different results. It's insane. So if we want to go where we've never been, we have to do things we've never done. There's a Hebrew word called nefesh, and it means your core being. It's an automatic response to something that happens. In the military, you hear the word incoming, you hit the ground, or you jump in a foxhole, or you go in a bomb shelter. It's automatic. You've done it so many things, it's automatic. And what I want you to do with this is I want you to understand in your head that your words are like nuclear weapons. Remember, weapons of mass destruction or weapons of mass construction. So that's what I'll be teaching you more and more and more. And after a while, instead of cursing someone, which frankly always curses you first, and then it affects them. But whatever you project out, it comes back. So if you're projecting blessings, you're blessed. If you're projecting curses, you're cursed. Now, again, I'm not a preacher. I love preachers. I'm a business guy, and I'm standing here before you on a mission. It happened just the way I told you when I was 5. It happened just the way I told you when I was in my office. So here I am with you. You can tell I'm passionate about this. This stuff really works. So where we're going to progress over the next few months in the video newsletter is that the supernatural miracles, you begin to expect them. Even if you don't go to church, if you implement these policies and these concepts into your life, it's just natural law. You can either break yourself on them or be broken by them. And so again, I'm going to teach you how to make those adjustments. Most of the time it's small. It's not even big adjustments. They're small, ridiculously small, holding you back, not just from your destiny, but even knowing what it is. Can you imagine, your Creator who knows everything? He looks at you and says, Bob or Mary, I love you unconditionally, okay? I love you unconditionally. And I have this destiny. Now, 99.9% of the time, a destiny for you is something so big, so impossible, that you could not possibly do it on your own. It takes supernatural intervention to get that done. It's just too big. It's almost too big to even think about. So when He reveals that to you, you cannot get that done in your own power. It's not possible. It's impossible. So can you imagine how cruel that would be to have a Creator, a loving Creator, who created you with limited powers? Limited. We all know that. We have limitations. Most of the time they're pretty small. But He reveals your destiny to you, knowing that you can't get it done. That's not going to happen. He would not do that to you. He's a kind, loving Creator. So, what has to happen? I call it being rewired. You have to be rewired to handle, instead of like being run by 2 little D-cell ever-ready batteries, you got to get plugged into a nuclear reactor power plant. Now, if you go try to plug yourself into the supernatural, the nuclear power plant, and you plug that cord in, what's going to happen if you're not rewired? You will explode. You've seen this where people win the lottery. One day they were making $30,000 a year, and the next day they have $300 million. Go back and look at 99 out of 100 of those people. They're broke and they're completely destroyed themselves and everybody around them. Why? They weren't rewired. They didn't have the character. They didn't have the patience. They didn't have it. And so that's why your destiny will be revealed to you when you follow these steps. And you are rewired. So once you go through this stuff, and it doesn't take a long time to do this, by the way. You get rewired, And then God reveals your destiny, just like He did to me in July of 2008. I had no idea before that. For 40-something years, I had no idea what was happening. So once I got rewired, and it took 40-something years to do so, He then showed me my destiny.